Eric, how's it going?
Going good, going good. Another week of anime, watching all these shows.
Ah, yeah, there's a lot of shows, and I keep
It's
getting recommended new ones, and I'm like,
okay.
I only
So
got
I
so
have,
much
I have
time.
like three. I have like three that I'm really interested in picking up, and I'm like, dang, I just don't have enough bandwidth
Yeah,
in my schedule
I want
right
to
now.
pick up Kimono Jihen, but I'm like, when am I gonna watch that? When is that going to actually happen? Who knows?
Yeah,
So
there's one called I think Jobless Reincarnation that I'm interested in watching. It's another isekai, but it's like we're already isekai'd up at this point.
yeah, we got a lot of isekai. That is definitely a thing. I have never watched this much isekai in my life. Even our wheel spin this week was like the original isekai. So
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot. Um, let's go ahead and get started because there we go. We dropped some shows.
yeah.
Yay!
This one was dropped. I guess. So funny thing. I added titles or text to the slides now, but I guess now
Oh,
you're
they're underneath me. Oh, oops.
yeah. All right. Didn't think
Oops.
that one completely through. Had to modify that one. Next week I add
Yeah.
it to the top. I guess.
Sorry about that. Oh,
Oh,
there
there
we
we go.
go. We changed our format a little bit. Thank you. Appreciate that. I forgot that had done that.
But
Yeah, Gekido. I think you wanted that to be something that it was not.
yeah, I really wanted it to be like there was a promo for Alice in Deadly School that's like a show within a show, and I thought this was gonna be like tied to that. I didn't realize that Alice in Deadly School is completely fictional, and this really has nothing to do with it. So I was kind of disappointed in this one. It's just another. It just feels like a standard idol show that like in like a as an afterthought, like hey let's make this Madoka, and it's like it's not really selling it right now.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it if somebody's going to watch the show, somebody is going to watch it on the internet, and then by the end of it, if they're like, "Oh, no, it went really crazy," a little bit further into it, we can come back and like be like, "Hey,
Yeah,
we'll watch this later when it's all out." So,
yeah.
uh,
I'm
no,
not
I
sold yet. But it could get better, but I'll have to wait for other people to tell me.
yeah. Yeah, Eric did pick this one, and first episode. I'm like, huh. I wonder why Eric picked this one. Maybe it's gonna get wild. And then the second episode, I'm like, Eric, why did you pick this? Why are you making us suffer through this? So, we dropped this one. We've not watched. I think we watched episodes 1 and 2. I haven't watched 3. So,
Yeah, I watched
uh,
1 and 2 as well.
so we went ahead and dropped World Trigger as well. I didn't watch the first season of this, so I was I mean, I would have muddled through it, but
Yeah,
it's
this
a little
I think
dense.
World Trigger overall is still a good anime series. It's just right now, the show is so kind of like niche. Not a lot of people watch it. So like, even if you're like if you like for let's say Yashahime, everyone knows like the basics of Inuyasha, but for World Trigger, like you like a new fan literally just jumps in with knowing nothing, and even old fans like it's a lot to remember. So like I just can't like with so much stuff like airing right now like World Trigger is just not a priority. Like I'm still gonna watch it. I'm probably gonna like um let it sit on the back burner for a little bit and kind of catch up in like the off season or the off week between seasons. But it's just not a good show to jump into right now because it's just full of just so much plot that just has so much content that you just need like explanations for. It's just like so much.
Yeah, and if I'm gonna have to pay attention to shows, like pay heavy attention to shows, we already have Log Horizon for that, which I didn't watch the first 2 seasons of, and I have to pay like a whole lot of attention to every single episode. So I don't need two of those to try to figure out. And I certainly don't need to go back and try to watch like all ridiculous number of episodes. Because when the first season of this like stupid long too.
Yeah, the first season of this was actually 70, I think 6 episodes. And so it's not like something you can just sit down, oh, I'm going to take a day and just catch up. Nope. It is a commitment.
Yeah. Well, oh well. Goodbye, World Trigger. We'll miss you.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
Higurashi.
This is it.
Higurashi, as a reminder to anybody, this is second core of the first season of this type of Higurashi, but
Yeah, so
it's a
this
sequel
technically
series.
is season 4, but it's like a new series. So that's why they call it Higurashi New. Um, and so like I guess World Trigger, Higurashi does have a decent amount of episodes that predates this season as well. But you really can jump in without watching it just because it's all the same events happening over and over and over again with just
Yeah.
like minor, well, major differences. And so I can still recommend this one to someone new, especially now because it seems like it's not going to be doing like, oh, we're just repeating for the sake of repeating and nothing is gained. Now it feels like there's like pretty high stakes going on.
Yeah. As a reminder from the last episode, our main chick here was like, I'm gonna give it 5 more times, and then I'm just gonna give up because this must be my life, my lot in life, to be absolutely terrible. Give me some background on why people itch their necks and why they think they have parasites inside them.
Okay, so the main problem in Hinamizawa is that there's this kind of sickness that infects everyone like when you're born. Like it's just so rampant in the village that the moment you're born, you're pretty much infected with it. But you don't know about it because it has really no side effects until you get away from quote unquote kind of like the queen bee. And so Rika, the main character, the girl with blue hair, her bloodline has this like uh thing, like there's something in her blood that suppresses the side effects of the illness. And so her family is kind of like the royal, well, they're not royalty, but they're like protected. They have a lot of influence in the town. And so
Mm.
and then they're in charge of all the shrines because like even though the townspeople don't know that they have this bloodline, like the founders understood it, and so they made to them kind of like the royal family. And so when someone leaves the village, that's usually the trigger that causes them to go crazy. So like it's kind of like a cultural thing where they have to stay in the village till almost you die. Like you're not forced to, but everyone just kind of does it, and only like a handful of people ever leave. And so Rika is kind of like the last like member of that family, so it's up to her to kind of like stay alive because if she dies, then there's no one in the village to like hoard off this mental illness that just causes you to go crazy and just on a murderous rampage. But for some reason, like even though she's still in town, it still triggers when someone is under extreme levels of stress. So she's kind of like playing like the person that's like knowing the events that are going to happen and kind of like preventing certain stress factors from like entering the village before it causes like mass hysteria. So there's lots of stuff going on in addition to like the villains and other stuff that's happening. So Rika just has a lot on her plate.
I appreciate that we got a lot of misdirect in this episode because you've got, oh, this is my childhood friend and he's coming with his wife and we've got a whole big setup for this. Nope, death. Death
Yeah,
instantly. It's like quick death, quick death, quick death. And then we get to this guy and it's like, oh, okay, here's where the episode's gonna be. Nope. No, that wasn't where the episode was going to be at all. He's the one who goes crazy, and he's the one who murders her incredibly brutally in that scene, and it's delightful.
yeah, the Akasaka coming in was a pretty big misdirect because he's like the MVP. Like he comes in when there's no options left. Like he handles business. And so for him to come
Well, he
in
handled
and then be
business
like,
in this
nope, sorry, like MVP's not the hero today. It was like, oh my God. Like that was a pretty big misdirection. And I really appreciate that in the last episode they were like, oh yeah, we're doing this 5 more times, and she's just like gonna be out. And I was like,
one.
dang, 5 more times. But this one was like, well, we're just gonna stroll through four. Like just throw them
Yeah,
away. Just like
like
she's
no
it's
no
just an
drawn
L
out
for her.
crap here. Just this person and this person and this person and yeah. I like how main character Kun did it too. Like
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
he did it one time.
So the cool thing about this is that because of the one of the core features of the previous Higurashi was that Rika can carry over her memories between timelines, but core pieces always gets excluded. So like she can never remember who killed her or exactly how she died. But now in the last episode, you saw that Hanyu, the spirit that is with her, gave her the ability to remember her killer. And so now you get to see her being completely miserable now that she realizes that it's never one killer. It's always someone
Yeah,
else. And
always
it's
different.
always just like a terrible experience. So
Well, I mean, how do you even
she's
get
pretty
out of that?
tired at this point.
I was gonna say, how do you get out of that? If it's a different freaking person every single time, you can't accommodate for it. And I mean, what are you gonna do?
No,
So it's live in a bunker, just a hikikomori in a bunker. Did you like my caption here? I added a caption to the
ma'am, this is
photo.
when yes, I did.
I liked your
That's
choice
that's
of
quite
photo.
that's quite a good summation of this problem.
I'm actually looking forward to the next Higurashi. I wasn't into it, I guess, in the first one. I thought it was just kind of weird for weird's sake or gore for gore's sake. But I'm kind of into it now. I liked the misdirect with Mr. Wonderful there. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Ah, my
Yeah.
heart for Heaven's design team. I love it
So
so
this
much.
is this is a pretty big surprise of the season. Like I thought this was going to be like kind of like a little gimmick, and it was like, oh yeah, like it's a cool concept that's just not going to last. But no, episode 2 was like pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, when we started episode 1, I thought it was going to be very much like, oh, people who work in creative fields, you're going to find this funny, and it's going to be in jokes for like, people who are graphic designers and things like that and have to work with clients. But this one was more generally funny, and I appreciated that. I didn't have a direct screenshot from this episode, but I wanted to have koalas in it because I learned
Yeah,
so much about koalas that I didn't know before.
yeah. I had to go through and like check and like research koalas. So like this is this really true? Like this is okay. I guess so.
Yep, yep. I feel like this was
Apparently,
a weird.
koalas poop 150 times a day.
They do, and eucalyptus is deadly to them, but they have gut bacteria that their babies eat their poop, so that they can inherit the gut bacteria. And
Yeah,
it's 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 the most
it's very
nonsensical animal.
educational.
Why does this animal exist? Like, really, why does it exist?
It exists to be cute and have no cute qualities. That's 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 why.
I love that
Oh,
that specific character, the one here in the front, the little the bows, is the one who
yeah, the
made this
girl with
character.
the pink hair.
She loves twisted, cute things. Like, it's got to be cute, but it's got to be her definition of cute, which is
Yeah, she needs to
really.
be shot though because she made worm brain eating worms like that. See, that she needs to be shot. Like that's not okay. I researched those worms as well. Apparently, those worms um don't affect humans. It only affects like particular like types of animals, but they don't affect humans. So we don't have to worry about them. We just have to worry about the other worm bacteria that affects humans.
I'm so happy that the horseman got a seahorse approved, though. Like, he wanted so much to get the unicorns, and the
I was
unicorns.
waiting for the seahorse. I was waiting for that. I was like, he has to be the one. He has to be the one.
He desperately wants a unicorn, and I'm in love with all the different types of unicorns that they have that are dumb and that run into walls and that snap off their horns. And I like
Yeah,
particularly in the first episode, the beefy one that like was just projectile pooping on the
like I love like the show kind of reminds me a little bit of uh interviews with monster girls where they give like scientific reasons why like these things can exist or should exist. And so um like they were like, oh yeah, unicorns can't exist because the amount of calcium that their body needs to produce in order to keep the horn produced is like it will almost kill them. It's like, oh, that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. This is like this is well researched, well thought through. Like I want to like
But
tell a
they
kid the reason why
demonstrate
we
it.
can't
The
have
best
unicorns
part,
is because of calcium deficiency. That's
I love that they demonstrate it every time, and that they're just the
yeah.
dumbest animals imaginable sometimes, too. It was a really
Yeah,
good
this was
episode, and
really good.
I'm really happy that it's still going in a different direction and it's not the same joke over and over again. I appreciate
My
that
favorite
because I
part
feel
was the
like we're
Pokemon
getting
battle. The Pokemon battle at the end where they had the squid versus the was it dolphin or whale? That was
yeah.
fun.
I like how the big guy loves like the fluffy cute animals, and he's the one who made the dolphin, and the dolphin is like his bro, and like he's just hugging the dolphin.
Yeah.
I love that guy. He's fantastic.
Yeah, great
All right,
selection of characters, honestly.
it is. It really is. It is surprisingly good. Oh man, we have so much Cells at Work Code Black because
Yeah,
3
they
new
came out
episodes
with 3 episodes
this
last
week.
week, which is I was like, dang, really? We already have so much on our plate, and you're gonna throw 3 episodes? But
Oh,
I
somebody
thought
asked
these 3 episodes were good together, honestly.
before we move on, somebody asked, what about real animals with horns? They talk about that in the show. They talk about how like birds' wings and how their bones are hollow, and they use that as a model for certain things. But then it makes the horn really weak, so that when the stupid unicorn tries to use the horn, it snaps off its own horn because
Yeah,
it's
they were
like
saying the
hollow on
reason
the
why
side.
deer have such massive horns is because they have 2 stomachs, and so they eat twice as much in order to have the nutrients necessary in order to produce the calcium to maintain their horn. And apparently, the horn
Yeah,
grows back like every year, like they get full horns like every
yeah,
year, and so they only can produce that because they have so much. They have 2 stomachs, which is like in horses. Horses actually, the stomach that they do have don't process nutrients as well. And so that's why when you see horses poop, it still looks like all clumpy and you can see like grains of food in it because they don't process their food properly. So it's like this,
yeah.
it's so educational.
It is. It's super educational, and they do some crap education at first, like when they're making stuff up about unicorns. But then at the end of like at least twice a segment, they have like, oh, look at a real world animal. Like this one, obviously one of them was the koala, and they're like, no, everything we said about the koala was true. You didn't believe us, but it's
You know?
absolutely true. I feel like it's a weird week though for anime because we got to hear about bifurcated penises in the koala section. Then
Yep.
we go to Code Black where you've got the baby sperm, and then he's really sad because the guy is like is having relations, and they're like, oh, it could just be that he's relieving himself. Are you telling
Yep.
me that all the sperm are going to their death? And then there's this heartbreaking scene where he just collapses on the ground because they worked so hard, and the poor
Yep. But
baby's
and then you feel
on
like
the
then you see their efforts has
ground. Oh man,
terrible
try so
consequences.
hard. I feel so bad for this person because they're like the stress and anxiety is like killing their body. Like they
Yep.
can't maintain, and they have to take Viagra in the episode, and they talk about how Viagra actually works and how it opens uh the the cell walls and stuff, or the words are hard, the veins and arteries, and they make them more
Yep.
dilated, and it was fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
I'm mad that they gave Viagra the last minute like heroes, like you know how when the hero comes in at the last moment you hear
Yeah,
like the "You Say Run" in My Hero, they gave Viagra that music like, oh my God, Viagra's here, we're going to save the day, and I'm
Viagra
like,
is here to
no,
save us
please
all.
stop, please stop.
But I feel like this is just a heavily disguised morality tale. It's like this is what's going to happen if you eat crap and you drink too much and you
Yeah,
have too much stress. And like that's what every episode is about.
it makes you
How
feel
this
bad
how
about
this
like,
body
dang,
all
I didn't exercise today, dang, I didn't eat enough
I know.
like
Like
vegetables this week.
it, it is definitely I have not missed a workout since I've been working. I've been watching Cells at Work Code Black. Um this is
Oh my
this
God.
is one of the baby sperm. I
Oh my
appreciate that
God.
they made, because how are you gonna, like you've got sperm cells and they don't have an assigned gender because it's like, it's actually the building blocks that will combine to make a person or whatever. And eventually, but they make them gender ambiguous intentionally. Like they have like their heads covered, you don't have any kind of identifiable hair or features or stuff like that. So I appreciated that for the little baby cells. But yeah, we had an episode. We had episodes 2, 3, and 4. I think that came
Yep.
out since the last time we've done a show. And the body person has sexual relations, and then gonorrhea breaks in. And I learned a
Yep.
whole lot about gonorrhea this week. As you might expect, gonorrhea is a sort of a beefy, almost tentacle monster, which was certainly a pointed thing. And it's
Yeah,
really,
the way gonorrhea was attacking the white blood cells, like, wait a minute, hold on.
it's really on the
This,
nose. Like,
you know,
it's one of those things. Like, why do the white blood cells have to have their tops like flailing open? Is that necessary? Like, does that they're not even using it for it's like really weird fan service because the whole show takes itself incredibly seriously. Like, this
Yeah.
is not like I'm making a tongue-in-cheek joke. This is like I'm collapsing on the floor crying because the sperm cells are gonna die, and I have to watch my friends who are white blood cells get brutally murdered, knowing that we can't defeat the gonorrhea on our own, but we still have to go in and basically throw ourselves at death. And I mean, it's like super heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I really like it. This is such a weird show, but I really like it. Are you watching the other cells at work?
I'm not. I am literally at my limit in terms of how much anime I can consume. Uh,
Fair.
so like
That's
when we drop
completely
World
fair.
Trigger, like yes, I don't have to keep up with it right now.
I was a little thrilled. I'm not gonna. If you wanted to drop ReZero, I wouldn't be mad. But that's okay.
Okay,
I'll keep
ReZero
going
is
with
not
it.
worth dropping. It's not worth
I
dropping.
didn't say it was. It's just if I'm choosing the bottom of what we're watching right now for me that I kind of dread watching every week, it's gonna be ReZero. Although this week's episode was better. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that when we get to the slide. I thought this week's
Yeah.
episode was better. It had characters that I liked better in it. And you're right. I hate it when Amelia is on screen, and I'm just real done with that.
Yeah, I mean she might be better now, but we'll talk about that later.
All right. Ah,
Okay.
Quince.
Oh
Oh,
man, I so this was a good episode, but at the same time, it makes me sad because they're totally gonna like turn Miku into the rim of the show. Like Miku is best girl, and she's always there for the main character. She's always sticking up for him, and she's totally about to get like put on the sidelines. I can feel it. I can feel it.
yeah. Well, not on camera, but off camera. I definitely read where the manga ends. So if you want to know what the ending is, I'll tell you later. But
I'll watch it. I watch the anime. I don't want to be
okay,
spoiled.
okay, no spoilers then. I'm not going to spoil on stream, obviously, because that's way beyond where we are. But yeah, this
Yeah.
was definitely Miku versus what's the one you hate? No, it starts with an N,
Nino,
right?
Nino, worst girl. Oh my god.
Yeah, Nina was definitely worst girl in this episode. Definitely living in a hotel, like high on the dollar. So their dad is rich, or their stepdad is rich, and their mom was like super poor and then married like a rich guy. Is that what happened? Is that where we're at here?
Yeah, we just found that out. We didn't know that in the previous season that they weren't always rich. We just assumed that they always had this lifestyle. So this episode kind of gave more contents to like how the girls grew up and why what's it Itsuki is kind of like the one that's like looking over her sisters, which is
Yeah,
weird because technically she's the youngest. Like they're all the same age, but Itsuki is number 5 in on the list, and so Itsuki is
yeah.
number 5 and Ichika is number 1. You like Ichika, right?
I like Ichika
The one with
because
purple
she
hair
reminds
that's
me.
older.
She's like a cool office lady. That's why I like
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
Okay, I like her the best. She seems
yeah.
responsible. I still hate the main character. He has not done anything better for me. I mean, yeah, they were jerks to him this time. I get that, like Nino was in particular, and that was on her. I get that, but he's still super infantilizing, and I don't like it at all. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So
Here, this is the
the big
episode.
thing of
This
this
is
episode was Nino versus Miku because Nino just is being Nino and just being awful all the time, and
yeah,
Miku and Ichika are I always have to make a mental like decision to say Itsuki or Ichika, but Miku and Ich no Miku and Ichika are the two that like realize that they love the main character, and they're the only ones that are actively like trying to like draw their battle lines. But Nino kind of likes him too, but she doesn't realize it. She thinks he's someone else. But these two kind of like are having an argument because like Miku always wants to be there to defend him, and Nino is just like terrible. And so we finally get to see them kind of like confront each other over like how she treats them, and it was pretty. It was pretty fulfilling in to
okay.
that scene.
I'm with you. I don't like Nino. I'm very anti Nino right now, and I'm kind of with you on that one. I don't know enough about Miku to know if she's gonna be best girl. Right now, I like the office lady, and she's my favorite. But
Yeah.
I got a lot of like logical problems with this episode. Okay, right? So number one, he's paid by like their parents to
Hmm.
tutor them, right? Right. Okay. Okay. The whole crux is he's made these like worksheets for them, but he doesn't own a copier, so he's done them all by hand. He's stupid. Go to a Kinko's. They exist in Japan and you're getting paid. Like,
Okay, but I think he's so in poverty that like whatever money he's getting paid isn't like he's not going to waste it on like buying extra things. I think he's just trying to get by
okay,
at the bare minimum right now.
is this set in the current time? Maybe he could have done it, oh, I don't know, digitally. So then he could just give it to them and email it to them and have them on a tablet or a PC because they're rich,
That is
so
fair.
clearly they're going to own a personal computer. I just think that this was dumb on his part to spend all night and not sleep and write these things up. Oh, you have
Okay,
not
that
missed
that is fair.
ReZero. Logosh Gaming, you have not missed ReZero. We just talked a little bit about it a second ago. It's going to be toward the end. The only stuff that you've missed is Heaven's Design Team and Code Black for Cells at Work. What's the first one we did? We did Higurashi. We did Higurashi
Yeah,
already. So
Higurashi, and we talked about how he dropped Gekido and World Trigger.
World Trigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that like, okay, I still don't like him. I still think he's really infantilizing, and I don't appreciate that. But I just thought that was dumb. Like, there's like a bunch of ways for you to get around this.
That is fair. That is fair. I don't think he made a big issue of it, but Itsuki was like, "Hey, he wrote these by hand. Like, don't tear this up,
I know.
Nino." Like
Well,
Nino,
there was a point that he cared and he did all this stuff, but it's just
yeah,
dumb. Like, no, he it was just a dumb thing. Like, why would you do that? That's you not planning in advance. That means you're a crappy tutor. I'm gonna be real, okay? You're not good at your job, but
that's a fair criticism. I have questions about the appearance of the original girl in this. I don't know if that was a hallucination or if it really happened or if one of the girls dressed up as the other girl, but I don't know which one of them
if
realized
if
that
one of
like
those
that's a
girls
thing.
dressed up as if they want him dressed up as it, then that's a whole nother level of psychosis I don't even want to get into because that's some creepy stuff right there. Holy
Yeah,
crap, that would
so
be
I gotta figure out.
terrifying.
I gotta figure out what happened. We'll know next episode about I guess which one of them dressed up as it because it feels like only each ski knows, but I guess Nino, I mean not Nino, Miku, I guess kind of have an idea too, but it's I don't know how that fits in, but
I don't know. I feel like this is a little bit unhealthy to begin with because he's got this idealized version of a girl he met like what once on like a day in Kyoto or whatever, and I don't know. I feel like it's just leading to some like you shouldn't have a relationship like that. You shouldn't be
yeah,
chasing
yeah.
someone you met like one time that you've idealized in your mind that now your idealized version is talking to you to give you advice. Like that's really unhealthy. I mean,
Yeah, so hopefully it's not a
it's
hallucination. I mean, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense otherwise, but we'll have to wait till
yeah, no,
next week or this week to
I
find
think
out.
it's a hallucination. I think it's his inner conscience or whatever talking to him through this idealized woman that he knew and, stuff like that. But all right. Hey, it's
All right.
spider time. I
Yeah,
enjoyed Spider this
Spider's
week
really
too.
good.
Spider got a lot of level upgrades, and Spider did exactly what I would do if I were playing like an RPG style game. I would absolutely just try to murderize a bunch of low level enemies to get my stats up to start with, so I'm OP for my first boss, and that's exactly what Spider did in this
Yeah, she
episode.
choked that frog. That poor frog. She just straight up like like that frog is like, come on, man.
Oh man. Yeah, so Spider got like a bunch of new levels and some new abilities and stuff, and then got the ability to either grow larger or to specialize in type. So she's gonna stay small, but she's gonna specialize in type, which I think is a storyline device more than an actual choice because she can interact with like humans later, you know what I mean? I feel like that's definitely a storyline choice more than anything.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that her understanding of her level up tree or whatever isn't what it truly is. Like I feel like she's making the wrong decision for some reason.
She may be.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm interested to see how that plays out because the episode cut off right before like we get to see like the fruits of her, I guess, level up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but the end credits have like her armored form or whatever, if you notice. Like
Yeah.
so that's kind of where we're going with this. We had a little bit more glimpse into like the human world, and I think that's kind of where it's going to differentiate itself from something
Like slime.
from some of your more traditional ones, because a lot of
Yeah.
people are reincarnated. It's not just one person, and it's not like a game like in Log Horizon or something like that. It's
Yeah.
a bunch of people who knew each other, and then there's some secret of why they're all dead at the same time, you know.
So
But maybe
I'm
it'll be like
interested to
the end of
see.
Lost, where everybody's in purgatory and they all died at
that's
different times. They're all in
that's
purgatory
possible.
at the same time. So
But I'm interested to see how her bully is gonna uh meet up with her, because her bully feels really bad. Like at first I was like, okay, I can't wait till they meet, because she's gonna like show like that
yeah,
girl like, yeah, man, I'm a spider now. I'm gonna like mess you up. But now the bully feels bad, and so I'm like, okay, all right, I'll give her a pass. So I'm interested to see
really,
how her
a
classmates are gonna
lifetime of
react when they
bullying,
find out that she's a
one piece
spider.
of regret, you're gonna give a pass after a lifetime of bullying. Okay.
Well, it wasn't a lifetime, whatever. I mean, it was a year. It wasn't a lifetime,
Erik with the
but
ultimate compassion here. All the
all
compassion
right,
coming.
all right, all right. I am surprised that the end. I was expecting that they were to do a swap with the ending and opening. Like a lot of times anime like will put like the ending song at the very end of the first episode, or the opening song at the very end, and then all the episodes going forward, that's the new opening. I was expecting that because the ending song is just so good and really fun. But no, the ending song is just significantly better than the opening, even though the opening isn't bad either. So the music in
Yeah.
this is really good. They really went all out.
I look forward to
Um,
seeing what spider shenanigans we have, and I look forward to her getting out of this like cave and progressing with storyline. So,
yeah. So this is definitely one of the better
all right,
shows this season.
we're gonna spend some time
Okay.
here.
All right.
We are
Yasha
gonna
Hime.
spend some
Oh
time here.
boy.
Mm.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah, yeah. Sure was an
Okay.
episode. So
Do you want to start this one off?
yeah, all right. Let's give some background for the chat. And chat, just be aware, you're watching a weekly anime show. You're gonna get spoilers for whatever the last
Yeah.
episode was. That's just kind of what we're here for, right? After 15 episodes of waiting, we finally got a decently comprehensive backstory about what actually happened with Inuyasha and Kagome, with Sashomaru, with the girls, with all the baddie. Like we have a big bad guy now that's that is an overarching baddie.
Yeah.
All right, you've got a lot going on here. So Inuyasha and Kagome had a daughter, but Inuyasha and Sashomaru's dad, the dog demon, used to be like frenemies with a different demon guy who lives up on a mountain. His name Kimaru or something like that.
I don't
I
remember. There's
can't
so
remember.
many
There's
names.
a bunch of weird Japanese names. But this other demon guy, other demon guy basically like took like 100-year nap or something. I don't know. He was asleep and he didn't know what was going on, and he didn't know that his bro slash enemy was or rival or whatever made it with a human and made some half demons. And then he certainly didn't know that the two sons of his bro, one of which was already a half demon, also made it with some human women, and then made like quarter demons and more half demons, because he's like, hey, I'm going to destroy all impure demons that are half demons, and this is an abomination, and I'm just going to murder them. So that's your big, I guess, your big baddie, and now he's awake, and now something's going to happen. So he wakes up and finds out about this right when Moroha is like being born, and also right when the twins are being born. We're gonna put a pin in that, and we're gonna come back to that in a minute. Okay. And that's the oh yeah, that's a girl. Yeah, the one in front is Toa. She's
Yeah.
pretty
She's
great.
Sasamaru's
Toa and
older daughter.
Zen, yeah, the one with the scythe is or the spear thingy with the it's not a scythe, it's the sword matching with the spear. The one with the spear is Setsuna, and that's the other twin. So the guy they found in the river with the blue pearl earring in the earlier episodes, Prince something, he finds Kagome and he's like, "Hey, dude, this dude who was your father-in-law's frenemy has woken up and you're in danger. Like, baby, you in danger, okay? Um, because you're giving birth to this child, and way over here, Sashomaru's child is also being born, soon or whatever, and you guys got to hide because stuff's coming, right? And they wind up getting Sashomaru and Inuyasha together temporarily to divert a comet that's coming to Earth for the first time in 500 years that frenemy dudes beat last time. So they had to get both of them together because the dog demon is dead, to send the comet back because the other guy's asleep. Other guy's not asleep. Other guy's gonna murder some people.
Yeah, that's a
And
little. Also,
what?
to cut you off right there, but it's also weird that like right before the comet was in like striking range, the guy sent like some weak minion to go attack Sashomaru and like kill or steal the babies, right? Like
Yeah,
like before they deal with the threat with the comet, he's like, hold on, let me kill these babies first, even though
yeah.
I know I need Sashomaru to kill the comet. And then he's still
It's
like
really.
the lowest ranking like member of his squad, and she gets her arms cut off and
Oh,
loses
you're taking
two
my favorite
duels.
part. Oh my god, you're taking my favorite part.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, we gotta get. I'm trying to finish the Inuyasha part because then there's a whole lot to talk about for the Shishomaru part
Okay.
of
Okay.
this. All right. So at the end, they wind up like there's a tussle, and you find out that they give Moroha to somebody else to raise, basically, and Kagome and Inuyasha are trapped in like a nether realm where the grave site of Inuyasha's father is, and this is how you find out that's where they are, and they leave like the Beniyasha like rouge thing for the baby and all this stuff. They give some stuff to the baby, and then they're sucked into a nether realm through a freaking pearl. All right. So, Kagome and Inuyasha are not deadbeat parents. They've just been sucked into a nether realm, and it kind of like absolves them of some stuff there, right?
I don't know why the
Well,
whole squad isn't like, hey, like our two main characters are in the Netherrealm. We got to get them back. Like I don't know why everyone isn't up in arms like, hey, this is a problem we need to solve. But
yeah,
whatever.
there's no plan either. It's not like I've been working for 10 years to put this plan in. No, there's no plan. There's no plan at all. They just live in Netherrealm now. That's what it is. So, all right. The Shomaru. Everybody was worried about this show because when the promo pictures came out, it looked like that in the tree in the beginning couple of episodes that might have been Rin, who was a small child when she was touring around with Sashomaru. I heard in final act Sashomaru like gives Rin to like a human parents to raise, and he actually like
Yeah.
separates from her and stuff. Okay,
So technically,
but still,
Shishomaru didn't raise her. She was raised by uh Kaede,
still creepy.
the Kikyo's younger sister. So technically,
Still
she was raised
super
by
creepy.
humans, and Shishomaru didn't like take care of the whole time, and she willingly
Mm,
made the decision to like marry him. So
okay,
it's
it
not
says
as
that she's
bad. It's not as bad.
It says that she's 14 when she gives birth to these children.
Oh, was it? They said
14
she was 14.
years old. People online have like based on this and X, Y, and Z, and when they were this age at this point, and when they're giving birth and stuff like that. Yep, she's 14.
Oh dang, Shishomaru,
Yep,
that's hard. That's really hard to give you a pass on that one. Dang, bro. Dang.
yep, yep. Oh,
Oh
yep.
man.
Uh-huh. There's no explanation on why she's in the tree, by the way, really in this episode. Because in the first like two episodes, she's like suspended in the tree, the ages tree of ages or whatever that they travel with and that has power. Yeah. FBI coming for Sashomaru. I mean, I'm
Okay,
just saying.
so it was a different time. They are living in feudal Japan. So I mean, it's not
Back,
great. It's not great, but I don't think
going to that.
Shishomaru is quite the worst yet. So
We
it's
going
not
to that,
great.
are we? Mm-hmm.
It's not great. I,
Mm-hmm.
I won't give him a full pass, but I'm not I still support Shishomaru and Ren, but it's like it's not great. I understand that.
It reminds me of the manga for Usagi Drop. All right.
That's a little different. He was literally raising her the whole time, but yeah, it
Well,
is
you know
bringing up
why it's a little
Usagi
different?
drop
Because they didn't get together until she
memories.
was out of high school. That's why it's a little
Yeah,
different. She was 14. That's even
that is
worse.
true. That is true. They're making it.
All right,
That
so
takes place in
yeah,
normal Japan though. This is old
you
times.
you find out Sesshomaru has made it with Rin, and Rin is giving birth to these babies. Like they actually have like oh, I'm tired, I just gave birth to these babies, and she names them. She definitely has a Princess Leia esque I'm gonna name these babies and never see them again kind of scene.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Fisherman
then
literally
Sesshomaru,
just like almost ripped the babies out of the mother's arms. It's like, come on,
yep.
like,
But I mean, she was cool with it. She's like, it's cool, no worries. And he's taking them to some magical forest that he's now enchanted so they can sort of Spartan style fend for themselves or die. But on the way, as Eric mentioned, he gets attacked by Snake Lady that you find later in the series. And Snake Lady's like, I'm going to kill you. And knowing full well that Sesshomaru is like ridiculously powerful, and he's like, shoot, shoot, cuts off her
yeah,
arms. And this is the
it's
best
like, what are
part.
you doing?
You think that the twins have these like magical rainbow crystals because they inherited them or they're magic or whatever. Nope, he just stole them. He cuts off her arms and just steals them, and it's the most arbitrary random crap, and puts them in the baby's eyes, and he's like, yeah, this will probably help them, but just
Like,
straight up
and at
steals
the same
them.
time, Inuyasha is like, yeah, I'm going to take one and put it in my baby's eyes. They don't coordinate this plan. It's like cool, complete coincidence. They're like, yeah, that's
It is,
just what
it is,
dog demons do. Put jewels in their baby's
apparently.
eyes. Apparently.
So he takes them over and has this like mysterious demon woman who is like kind of throughout all of this stuff with him, and she sees that he's making like the babies, and then that little guy, what's the little short guy with the beak mouth?
I think Jockin. I think
Yeah,
his
the
name
one
is
that's with
Jockin.
Chomaru.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
it's
oh,
Jockin.
don't
I
worry,
think something like
the
that.
babies will be here for a little while, and then I'll bring Rin to this area. So maybe Rin was involved, but maybe not. We don't really know what's going on there.
So
And
the
also,
one piece of information we did get is that the right before Sesshomaru literally turned his back on his children and let them like die. There was a demon was like, yeah, I found your kids. Um, like I used like the dream something to find your kids, and it could be some people are theorizing that it could be the dream butterfly that
that Setsuna
attacked,
has. Yeah.
yeah, Setsuna, might have been on purpose. That way they can't track them with the dream spell anymore because now she doesn't have dreams. And so some people are thinking that maybe Ren might have been behind that, and that's why Ren is like in the tree or something. So some people
Hmm.
are trying to link things together. It's still not completely clear yet, but
Yeah. Well, we'll see. This has been a very eventful episode, and it gave you like a ton of backstory on what the hell is going on and where everybody
yeah.
is. All of this. Not that the main characters know any of this, but the audience does now. And it
Oh
made
yeah, I guess they
Sesshomaru
don't know
even
at
more
all. I
problematic.
guess, man, how would they even find
Yeah.
out? Yeah. Because the Sherman Ray doesn't have any interest in like telling anybody anything. Like I'm pretty sure Kaede and the rest of the humans don't even know Kagome is gone. Like
Well, there's also a lot of logical problems with this too. If you're leaving literally newborn infants in the woods, I mean, what are they? Were they suckling wolves? I mean, how are they going to survive? They're literally newborns. Newborns cannot survive, and
yeah,
we have no evidence that they, half demons are any appreciably different enough from humans to survive as infants, upon birth. So, but clearly, when they're
yeah,
like 3 years old, they're functional enough to like run through the woods and frolic and remember stuff and save each other and run from a forest fire. So,
well, yeah. They're demons, I guess. Well, they're quarter, no half. They're half demons. I guess I don't know. Maybe they grow
I guess.
faster.
Well, they're clearly Moroha's quarter demons are about the same age because they're about the same age as Moroha, and they were born about the same time. Moroha's a little older than them,
Yeah,
I guess, by
yeah.
like a
People are
month or
people are
something.
saying that it's very so on the thing of Ren being 14. It's very strange that Ren had her children before Kagome did, and that's like okay, that is quite a
Mhm. Mhm.
problematic.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. Problematic is the word to describe this. That is,
the
hmm
big oof.
the big oof. It's what everybody was worried about because there was like so much love for Sesshomaru, and it's like, mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
yeah. It's really hard to stick up for you, bro.
I believe the internet term for that is problematic fave.
No,
All
but at
right.
least we got some
Uh,
answers now.
the absolutely gorgeous, fantastic Wonder Egg Priority is next.
Yep.
I'm
Uh,
cool you found this picture because that means we're gonna have more girls doing the stuff, and I'm pretty excited about that.
yeah, yeah. So there's two characters in this picture that we haven't seen yet. And this is the official kind of like, I guess, promotional material for it. Um,
This show
but
is
yeah,
so
Wonder
pretty.
Egg Priority is pretty good.
This show is done by Cloverworks, who is also producing Promise Neverland and Horimiya, all of which
Oh
are gorgeous looking shows. So it's like,
man,
oh, okay,
they really got a
Cloverworks.
lot this season.
They do. Well, they did like Fate Babylonia and Darling in the Franxx and some other, and Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which are all really pretty shows. You know, like they just very well done animation. So
So
I
Mother's
definitely
Basement,
think
in one of his recent videos, he described this show as Hyoka meets Madoka because it has like the animation quality of Hyoka, but it has like the context of Madoka. So it's a
yeah,
really good
it
comparison.
feels like a high enough animation quality that it could have been KyoAni. You know, like
Yeah,
it almost feels like pretty enough to be a KyoAni show. But yeah, no, I freaking love this show. However, the bad guy in this one was surreal. Okay, it was
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
surreal. So, to give you a catch up, Wonder Egg Priority is about this girl who has like heterochromia. Is that with the two different color eyes? You see her in the
yeah,
front
yeah,
there. She's like a shut-in. She's a hikikomori because she was bullied a whole lot at school. Her best friend committed suicide, but then she buries a bug, and the bug takes her to a gachapon machine. And the gachapon machine gives her magical eggs in this weird magical world where people from other dimensions, maybe, who are have either maybe killed themselves, possibly, are trying to
yeah. I think
fight their
they're all
demons
dead.
in a symbolic
It's
way,
weird.
and she has to go help them fight their demons and survive in this symbolic world, and then she never sees them again. But it's kind of episodic in that way. She gets an egg and then she goes to fight and help these people out, and she's got a like a click pin that magically turns into a giant weapon. That's her like weapon.
Yeah.
And
This
it turns out
episode
in
is a
this
different pin though. Like it's a different pin. So this pin had like the pins that have like multicolor ink, and so because of
yeah,
that, like her pin turned into almost a keyblade.
yeah,
And so
it
it
does. It's
seems
got
that
like
like
a back thing with all the different colors on the back. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
And you
so
find
it
out at
seems
the end
like
that
it doesn't
the other
matter.
person.
Like she could touch like even the baton, like she turned into like a
Well,
whip.
I think
So it seems like she
the
can make the whips out
baton.
of anything.
That's the thing. The baton I thought was the other girl's weapon, and she used it, but the other girl is who activated it because she was, coming to
Ah.
terms with stuff, and that's when it activated, and that's kind of how I interpreted it. Girl on the
I
left is go ahead.
I'm thinking that she can just take anything and transform it into a weapon. I think this is very like kind of like a mental thing where like as long as she believes she can attack with something, it'll just turn into a weapon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be, but girl on the left is a gymnast or was in her like life or whatever, and her bad person who's pursuing her that's vaguely unhuman is her her gymnastics teacher who is like humanoid, just like a woman in the beginning, and then morphs into a four-boobed, four-armed monster, and with like I don't teats.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
that
pretty wild.
that spray paint at her, and at one point she gets sprayed with paint on her head and she can't see, and the other girl has to tell her what's going on and like where to attack and where to avoid and stuff. And somebody posted, "What did I just walk into? You walked into the weirdest
Yeah,
show this season, but it's really good." So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
so it seems that
and
she's just going to
they
be
fight it.
helping. I guess it might be just a coincidence that all the people she helped so far are girls, but it seems she's gonna help a different girl every single episode, and I don't know, get progress of saving her friend, and you just kind of have to go through like the mental, I guess, stress of each girl that she, because it's a gotcha game, so who she gets is
Yeah,
completely random, I guess.
yeah,
Um,
and then she
that's a
also like
strange gotcha.
The
So
girl in the first picture here is on the left is the other girl who's getting a whole bunch of gotcha eggs because she's trying to rescue her sister. We find out in this episode, and she's
yeah.
slowly opening up the main girl is being really kind of annoying and pestering her and stuff. And but she, at the end of the episode, she's like rushed off to the emergency room and might be horrifically harmed because she overdoes it because she's really intent on saving her sister. Whereas main girl,
But
it's a little bit like a game to her, but she's driven by the fact that she's trying to rescue her friend. So
so what gets me is that the other girl, the other girl is like, yeah, I do this like 3 times a week. Here, I do it on even days, and you can do it on odd days. Don't ever cross paths with me again. Um, and so the other girl, like, she gets like 10 eggs at a time, and she's been doing this for a while. So it's like,
yeah,
how many eggs do you need to break? Like,
I
if
know.
main
It's
girl is
like
only
they're
getting one
already
egg,
annoying.
like
Yeah,
if
is
main
there
girl is only getting like 1 egg at a time, like you'll literally be doing this forever if the other girl is doing 10 at a time and she's still not
Yep,
seemingly even close. And
yep.
also, how are they like how are they talking to their parents at the end of the day, right? Because they come
Well,
home
clearly,
with like
I
severe
think
injuries.
that they had a discussion about this, in the beginning, but I don't know how she's going to maintain it,
Yeah,
like
like
she
she
comes
came
home and
home
she's
and her
like really
liver was
ill,
cut
but
open, right? And her mom's like,
yeah,
"Are you going to talk about this? Are we going to talk about this?" But the other girl is literally in the ER. Like the other girl is like, "Yeah, I'm like not even breathing on my own right now. How do you just come
oh,
back home and says, 'Yeah, I don't know what
well, we
happened.
have
I
like
tripped.'"
so much happened in this episode. You get a little glimpse into her friend who killed herself's life too, because she's
Yeah,
being bullied, and the main girl is like, "I'm sorry, they're bullying you because of me," and she's like, "No, it's not because of you." And you find out that her friend is being bullied because they think she's sleeping with the teacher. And then you find out she probably is sleeping with the teacher. There's like a whole scene where she walks off and kind of looks side eye at her with the teacher. She probably is sleeping with the
yeah,
teacher. And this is like way more complicated than you thought it was?
yeah.
So,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
it
So
was a very
I
cool
feel like
scene. I
we're
really
probably
like
going
it.
to find out even more about her best friend because it's
Yeah.
like there's still core pieces that's missing, and so it's probably going to be like a slow like drip in terms of information about her, and I feel like that's going to have a lot of like meaning for the show.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
All right,
Parmia.
another great show of the
Parmia was
season.
so cute. I love it. I
I
appreciate
love their
Parmia because
relationship because
I do too.
technically this isn't a romance yet. Like you understand that they will get together, but they're not together right now. They're just
Well,
best
and
friends that like
they're
really
honest
love
about it
spending
too.
time with each other.
That's exactly true. They're honest about it. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna get flustered and deny everything. No, they're like super duper honest about, like, no, I love spending time with you, and I mean, it's
Yeah,
super cute.
I
The
don't
whole crux of the
like.
show, if you haven't been following, is she is a very popular high schooler, and they go to high school together. But she's like a mom type at home because her mom is intermittently there, so she basically takes care of her little brother. And then he is like a nerd at school, and they all assume he's an otaku, but he's really got like piercings and tattoos, and he's kind of a cool guy. But they spend time together outside of school. But he's really paranoid about anybody at school finding out because he'll get in trouble with the school if they find out he has tattoos or piercings or things like that. So,
So you know what their relationship reminds me of? Their relationship
hmm.
reminds me of Toradora, where Ryuji and Taiga weren't in a relationship for 90% of the show, and they were just like best friends that like they had a common goal to get the other person to like in a relationship with their friend. And so this is like Toradora without the unnecessary like, oh yeah, we're all just working together for this one thing. They're just like happy being around each other, and they're good
Well,
friends. And so it's like
I think
really pure
I think
and enjoyable experience to watch.
it is a lot like Toradora, but that's what I'm saying. It's more honest than that. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't that far into Toradora before Taiga had feelings for him because I watched the show a lot. I love Toradora quite a
yeah.
bit. Um, but there's not like that kind of I'm gonna lie to myself about it kind of vibe. It's very much like No, I love spending time with you, and it just feels very natural. Like, it's not going to be some like pent up confession. It's just going to be we spend time together and we fall in love, and it'll be very fluid. Um,
Yeah. I like
this
it. I liked it
episode,
when her little brother was like, "Yeah, so what? Like, is he going to be here forever?" And he says, "No, he's not going to be around forever." All right. So when he's going to stop coming around? And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." And she felt
yeah,
really bad because she was like, "I do want him to be around forever, but like, we're not dating right now." So it's like,
yeah,
well,
they're about to like they're going into year 3, so like they're graduating. I think
yeah.
this is like the last year of high school or whatever for Japanese kids. So yeah, no, and she's upset. She's like, I don't know. This is definitely this is probably number 2 or number 3 on my most hype of this year. I've really liked the show. It's gonna take it a while to get where it's going for sure. The scene I think is where he's kind of making fun of her. Well, not making fun of her. He is actually not making fun of her. She gets really shy because she knows all the words to an anime song. And he's like, "Oh, you listen to anime music? That's adorable." And he's like completely wholesome about it. And she's like, "Oh no, I don't listen to that. I listen to other kind of music." And then she's singing in her head, "What do kids listen to? What do kids listen to? What do kids listen
Yeah,
to? I
she
don't
doesn't
know what
actually
kids
listen to
listen
music
to."
because her persona is she's like the like cool, like laid back, popular girl that's like good at school, and so like she's supposed to be knowing what's popular right now, but she's like,
Yeah,
crap, I don't actually know, but I know all the words to an anime song because my little brother blasts it all the time.
yeah,
So
it's
it was really
absolutely
funny. It was
adorable.
really funny.
The whole episode was really cute, and it's definitely it's building towards action because of the fact that she's realizing that they are graduating high school, and that she to maintain this pleasantness, she's going to have to take some action. And I think that's kind of the next step of where we're going toward. Um,
One more thing I want to
but yeah,
mention about this episode is that it ends on her birthday, and so the main character is like, "Oh, what do I get her?" And he ends up getting her a CD of all the popular songs of the time, and she's like, "Oh man, this is exactly what I wanted." And it was like, it felt so genuine because it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm going to get her a ring to let her know that I love her," or "I'm going to get her a
yeah,
teddy bear," or some random thing that's just going to be there as like a centerpiece and no real value. No, it's something that she genuinely wanted because she doesn't know what's popular and she wants to know that. And so it was like they are genuinely like in tune with each other and like listening to each other and trying to figure out what the other person likes. And it's not just like
yeah,
some cliche romance.
yeah, yeah. All right,
All
Skate to
right.
Infinity. We're learning about
Some people
skateboarding.
are trying to some people are hoping that this turns into a romance too. They want to be very Yuri on Ice.
Well, I mean,
I don't
I
think it's
could
gonna go that
definitely
direction.
I could see it going that way, or I could see it not going that way. There are a
Yeah.
lot of very pretty different styles of men in this show, and I know exactly why people think it might be going that way. Like, the two dudes, one that works at the cafe and one that's like a consultant, and then they
Oh my
have this
god.
like thing going on, and yeah, there's some vibes
Funimation
there.
tweeted a few days ago they wanted the audience to pick whether between Team Joe, which is the big muscular guy, or Team Cherry Blossom, the guy with the pink hair, and they were doing like a poll to see who had like the leading number of fans, and it's funny because they're not even the main characters, you know.
Nope. Also, everybody's shipping that. All right. So I don't know what they're talking
Yeah.
about, like who's better. They're better together. That is the answer.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So you're opening up to a lot more characters in this show now, which is really very nice. Oh, we'll get there later. I'm going to talk about him in a minute. The ones that we're talking about, there's muscular dude who's a skater. He's the guy that works at the cafe, yeah. And then there's a very effeminate guy, the cherry blossom guy, who has a skateboard that has like an AI in it that tells him like the slope of the curve and how he should hit this one. And that's the fanciest skateboard I've ever even heard of. All right.
Okay, Cherry Blossom, I'm pretty sure that's cheating. You cannot have a skateboard that tells you the curvature of the road. And no, it's your skill as a skater to determine that yourself. You can't say, "Oh, the skateboard told me that this section of the road has more friction, so I should slow down." No, you're
Yeah.
cheating. You're a cheater.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So you've got these two characters, and in the previous episode, the main two characters are the two main on the screen here. One's from Canada, and he was a snowboarder, and he's learning how to skateboard, and you're invested this whole episode because he's learning how to do an ollie for the first time. And he just like it's like this montage, where he just hurts himself left and right, and he's so bad at it, and finally he gets it, and he does an
Yeah.
ollie, and it's just this wholesome scene, and it's delightful.
Yeah, because
But
it's
now
funny because
everybody,
he's a skateboarder. Their feet are always like strapped to their board, right? And so the whole concept of leaving your board is so foreign to him. He's like, "What do you mean? Why can't I just strap my feet onto my skateboard?" And he does it, and he almost flies into traffic. It's like
yep.
that's why you can't strap yourself to a skateboard because you'll die. You'll literally
But
die.
because he's got these wild skills that everybody recognizes because he was a skateboarder for like his whole life, and like his dad died, and he's got like all these bad memories and stuff, and there's like a whole lot of backstories, and but now everybody's interested in him, including like the pro skateboarder for like the all Japan team, who seems like a sadist. Okay, who they're setting up like some creepy sadist, like small person, and I don't even know what we're going with there.
I can't
But
take that
in
kid
one,
seriously, right?
I couldn't
So
either. I couldn't either.
it's this like little 10-year-old. The kid has to be like, because the kid's wearing like a sailor uniform. Like he's wearing an elementary school, like, I don't even like, we're not even allowed to wear our regular clothes yet. And he's like, you can't be the villain. You're 10. You're 10. Go back to school. So I love the one thing I love about the show is that like it has all these crazy character designs. And you think, oh man, these characters are like he's like the bad guy. He has like face paint and crazy hair. But no, they go back to their normal lives, and you're like, no, wait a minute. They just have Chunibyo. These people aren't actually like 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 villains. They just have Chunibyo. They're regular people. They just have an underground skating ring. Like this man.
If
You think
I love
he
this
just
man,
always dresses like that. But
you
no.
do. He's not a juggalo in real life.
He
He
works at a
sells
flower
flowers.
shop.
And he sells cute flowers, and he's absolutely adorable. And he's like the bad guy in the first episode, and he's
Like,
totally like tripping him up too, like with like a little pipe bomb, or not pipe bombs, but little like firecrackers and stuff.
yeah.
But he's
But now it
keeping
makes
him
sense because in the first episode, he said that he was the anti-hero. He introduced himself as the anti-hero. I'm like, no, you're
yeah,
the villain. But now it makes sense because in his mind, he's not a bad guy.
yeah. But it was so cute because you go from this to
you know,
oh, it's so good. Skate the Infinity's been pretty good this season so far. I don't know if it's gonna turn into like Yaoi bait, but it's got a lot of male
could.
characters, like a lot. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
I'm
We
definitely
will see.
interested in it. I might be adding it to my list of things to use for AMV footage.
That's hey,
I don't
that's
think
a
it's
good
going to
idea.
blow up like Yuri and Ice in terms of AMVs though, but there probably will be a
Yeah,
couple. We might see some from MomoCon.
yeah.
All right,
All right.
Titan.
Attack on Titan.
Let's see. Let me look at my notes. Oh man. Oh yeah. So this was a good episode. We got to see a lot of plot development, a lot of consequences for your actions happening right now.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I guess they should be consequences, but some people don't care.
So
Um,
we had a pretty colossal episode. I mean, I don't even mean that as a
Colossal.
pun. Hmm. At the end of the last episode, you've got Reiner and what's the kid's name? Falco or something? The little kid
Yeah, I
who's
think
been the most
so.
of the in the basement of this place, and the guy, the rich guy, is up on stage, and he's telling this story and making it clear for everybody in this town to know that Marlians aren't as great as they think, and that actually the king that they all hate wanted peace, and he like blows this story up. All the important people are in specific places in the audience, and Aaron turns into a giant titan and just wrecks people.
Yo,
Absolutely wrecks people.
like
Um,
when they were setting it up and they were saying, "Oh yeah, the literally whole military is here, and like the leaders and everybody of any level of importance is all in this one spot," and I was like, that's not good governing right there. There's a reason why we try to keep the president and vice president separate as much as possible. But nope,
Yeah.
Aaron was like,
Nope.
hey,
And he does a flying leap into the stadium,
just crushes them.
into their bodies. And now all of these little children that you've seen that are training to be the new Titans, 2 of them are dead now. So that's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, one of them gets crushed by a rock, and the other one goes to save the one that's already dead, and then he gets like stampeded and trampled over. And they take him to try to rescue him, and they're like, "Don't bother us with this kid who's already dead." And it's just kind of horrific at this point. And yeah. But
Yeah,
Aaron
the one
starts to
that
fight.
survives is Gabby, the one like the one that was like the most well trained out of all of them, and like
Yep.
it shows just how like in the sauce she was. Like she was like, oh, they did these atrocious actions, and like they disrespected our country, and like they killed my friend. But like, no, you were training to do the exact same thing. Like in a year from now, you would have been their Titan. So it's like
Yep.
it reminds me of
Yep.
a quote from like Code Geass, where Lelouch is like, the only people that should kill are those who are ready to be killed themselves. And it's like, no, you can't. If you're going to war, like it's fair game at that point, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, we don't have a ton of story that happened in this episode, but we did have a pretty freaking awesome fight. So you've got he's fighting the Warhammer Titan, and this is the only Titan that I think we haven't seen at this point, pretty much.
yeah,
And it's owned by, or it's controlled by this family, and the rich guy that was talking, it's his family, and the person who has it is his sister, I think, and she
I
like
don't
takes care of the
remember. She was there for like a
but
second. I think I can't remember if she's a sister or nun or whatever.
yeah, but she starts turning into the Titan, and Aaron doesn't even wait. He just wails on her, like not even like completely formed, and he's just like beating the crap. And does that phase her? No, because she sends a shaft straight through his stomach, his Titan stomach, right?
Now,
And now all of the other people come in. You've got Mikasa and Connie and all of the people that you
Levi,
know on here and stuff like this, and they all come flying in, and they just start murderizing some people too, and they start trying to attack the Titan and everything like that. There's definitely some civilian murder in this scene. I mean, like there just straight
yeah,
up is. Um, but he's fighting the Titan, and this Titan can like create weapons out of like anything, any kind of material or metals or things like that. And it's actually a really OP Titan because it makes like a meat cleaver looking hammer and just starts going to town and like basically defeats Aaron. But then Aaron figures out that the Titan is not in the neck like it is in the other Titans. There's like a weird umbilical cord to like a freaking ball like Annie was in, like the crystallized ball thing. And he's like, oh, gotcha. So then he like disconnects that and the whole Titan thing falls down and he's about to go eat this thing. But in the midst of this, when he's like mostly defeated and he abandons his Titan form and stuff after this, when the other Titan shows up and he tries to bite him and things like that, uh, he's like talking to Mikasa, and Mikasa's like, you've murdered like children here. And Aaron's like, yep,
yep.
I did. Sure
He was like, hey,
did.
but we should continue fighting. Yep.
Uh, yeah. And
Aaron
so
did not
that,
care. He was like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is.
and
About
at the
this
end of
fight.
it,
Let's continue this fight.
the guy that's the mouth Titan, I don't know, the one with the angry like face and mouth comes and he tries to bite him and he can't bite through anything on Aaron because Aaron has like super every Titan powers now because he keeps eating everybody else and stuff.
Yeah.
And he can't get through, and then he sees all the people on the gear coming around, and because all the people in Marley have no idea that this is going on this island, and they have all this technology that they've developed to fight Titans. So he's like,
Yeah, it's
wait a minute, they're humans. they're humans and they're attacking Titans and they're gonna kill me. And he's just like
Like his line
flabbergasted.
is, "Can't you see I'm a Titan?" Like he was like he you're just so used to humans just like seeing that he's a Titan and backing off because they're scared. Like they've never seen a human like be crazy enough to fight a Titan head on before. So he's like, "Wait a minute, what are you doing? I'm a Titan." And so it was such a good moment because for the main characters, they've been doing this their whole lives. Like this is just like
Yeah,
background. This is like backyard training for them. This is just another day.
yeah.
So they're very much unprepared for this.
It's a wild episode. Do you know how many we have left in the season? Because I feel like I don't really know.
I'm
Like I
not
have
sure,
no clue
honestly.
where we are in the season as far as like the timeline. So who
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
knows?
know. This started.
Yeah, there
This
was
season started before the other episodes, so this might finish before everything else. I'm not
yeah.
sure if this is 12 or 24.
I will say of all the shows that are out this season, Attack on Titan has the best internet memes that come out of
Oh
every
yeah,
episode. I think
yeah,
because everybody's
yeah,
watching
yeah.
it, so it's like it has the best memes. So all
I kept
right,
trying to search through Twitter and Reddit for the pickup memes, but like I couldn't get anything. But Titan is just always just like so many. It's like, nope, we're not
there's
sure.
so
We're not
many.
sure on
You're
Titan
right.
memes.
You're right. So slime. I caught up on slime. It's uneasy for me to understand, and I'm gonna put that out there
Yeah.
because Log Horizon is not. Log
So
Horizon takes a lot of brain power, but
season one of Slime was very well done. It was the pacing of it was great. The story was great. Everything in season one of Slime was just almost perfect. And so you realize that the reason why Slime had such great pacing in season one is because they understood that not every single plot was necessary in order to get to the next point. And so they cut out certain segments of like certain consequences of certain battles. And it's like, okay, you don't need to know this particular information about the world. So we're just going to cut it out right now. And so season one was pretty much perfect. But then for season two, there's plot that absolutely needs that context in order to move forward. So they're like, okay, before we really start season two, we're going to have a recap episode and then we're going to
yeah,
like go back through all the little chapters that we skipped over and walk you through like saying, okay, this is what happened, this is what's going to happen next, this is how this relates to the next thing that's moving forward. And so
yeah.
Slime is actually handling the fact that they have a massive world really well and they're holding your hand through all of it. And so I think Slime is one of the shows where like you can really just jump in at season two. I still recommend watching season one, but season two really does hold your hand. That way you can like understand what's going on.
I appreciate that there's a lot of different characters and that I feel like I understand enough about each character that I don't have to have detailed backstory, Like I have enough
Yeah.
of the backstory from the recap episode. So in this episodes, we're making deals and taking names. First with the animal kingdom people who want to make sure that we're tough here in Tempest, so they fight us, and then they drink all of our booze, and then they want to it feels like freaking Spice and Wolf at that point. They're gonna send us the grapes and the fruits, but in return, they want us to make booze and send it back to them so that we can have some healthy trade going on here. And
The
yeah,
snake
yeah,
girl, like she drinks booze like water. Like like she consumes it like matter of fact, even saying water is doesn't she consumes it like air. Like she intakes alcohol as if it's just air.
yeah, like whole barrels
Like
full. So
that was way too
they have a
much.
vested interest in getting more booze. So that worked out. It's negotiate
You know,
diplomacy with booze.
so we got to
So yeah,
see
that.
I'll say we got to
Oh
see
god.
Shion. Shion is the girl with the purple suit on and the horn, and it seems she's significantly stronger now than she was in season. Like she was always one of the strongest of the ogres, but now she's just like there's a point where in the middle of the fight with the tiger girl, she's like, all right, I'm gonna do this massive attack, and everyone's like, oh man, this is a really strong move, but then she has to she gets interrupted because they realize that they're not really their enemies, but she has nothing to do with the attack, and it's just this massive like overwhelming ball of energy, and everyone's like, oh my god, she's going to blow up the whole town.
Yeah. She has nowhere to do it. They're like telling her, and then Slime's like, "Nah, it's cool. Well, I'll eat it."
Yeah,
It was
because
pretty
he's
nice
even
scene.
more overpowered. He can suck up anything. So
Yeah.
We get to see a lot of
Yeah,
character
but
development, I feel.
you get to go to the dwarf town at the end of it too. I like dwarves. I like dwarves in any media, so I'm all about this. We're gonna meet some dwarf town people.
Yeah, the dwarfs that aren't actually short though.
That's okay. They're
That was
still
always weird.
dwarves. They're craftsmen that have
Yeah,
beards. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. But
yeah.
yeah, slime. I mean, it's progressing nicely. I think it's kind of interesting. It's not like that kind of excitement like we would have in Titan or something like that, but it doesn't have to be. So, all
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
All right.
So the Log Horizon. Log Horizon had a lot of politics this time, and
Log
yeah,
Horizon
I
is
had to
so
give it my
much.
full attention.
I can't even even someone that's been watching all the seasons up till now, I can't understand the politics because it's so much, right? Because there's so many things that happen in season 1 and 2 that haven't been resolved yet. And so now season 3 is happening, and they're introducing even more elements. And it's like, okay, now we have to deal with the Dukes who that weren't present at all in the first 2
That's a new
seasons. And it's
thing. Yeah,
like, so it's
yeah.
like none of these political like things were present beforehand, so it's just more information on top of information, and it feels so unnecessary to get this much into the details. And so Log
Well,
Horizon
there's
is really just getting tripped up by their own world.
and now everything's like connected. Like the main princess chick is gonna have to get married to this other dude that she doesn't know and or like. But now they've appointed the guy who's in charge of one of the groups that's part of the council to be a duke in her stead to do basically all the work she was doing, so she can go get married. But then he's like, all right, I have some power now and I have some influence, so I'm going to pull my entire group out of the council and make my own council with like hookers and blackjack. I don't know.
Yeah,
But then
he's
he
trying to
really
build a
has,
legitimate government because so the way that city has been run up till now was the council. The council was kind of like this almost voluntary governing force where like they didn't technically
yeah,
have any real power, but the members inherently got power by working together and making decisions as a group. But the council really
yeah.
isn't like doesn't really it's not really part of the government. So now they're trying to legitimize it, but the problem is that the people the NPCs of the world, they have their own government, they have their own rules and whatever, but all the people that got isekai'd over, the players, they're like, "Hey, we're not part of that." And so having a forced government where not only the NPCs have to adhere to and also the real players have to adhere to was always an issue, and so that's why the council came up and was formed in the first place. And so now they're like, wait a minute, forget that. We're going to start completely over and build a government. And you're like, but what about the council? There was a legitimate reason why it was necessary, and now you're just switching gears, and it's like you didn't have to. It's just so much.
Yeah.
But
There's
so
but then at the end you find out that he really was having a meeting with Glasses Guy in the end, and he's gonna clue Glasses Guy into everything that's going on, and there's a lot going on here. Although I prefer this politics stuff from this episode to I'm gonna talk about this boy with glasses that I love, and we have this whole interaction between two female characters that is really exhausting.
yeah,
So I'll take
yeah,
politics over that any day. Absolutely.
yeah.
Um,
I'm just getting I'm getting a little tired of the fact that like it's just like almost every episode is pretty much 90% talking at this point. Like we haven't
yeah,
seen any action, any actual playing of the game. Like it's just yeah, we're just making politics, and it's like
yeah.
it's fine, but at the same time, it's like man, it's kind of boring. So if it doesn't pick up, I might start advocating that we drop Log Horizon. I'm still gonna watch it, but it's like it's just gonna be just more us talking about oh yeah, there's more politics, there's more politics.
I don't hate Log Horizon, but I won't be super sad if we drop it. So, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
All
All right,
right.
Promise Neverland. This was a stunningly good episode. There's a
Yeah.
scene in this episode, at the end where Emma goes with one of the two monster people to train to kill things. There was a scene in the manga that I was really excited to see in the anime, and it was just as beautiful as when they talked about how in the beginning, when you find out that they're eating children, all the children have this weird flower in them when they're dead, or when they sometimes when they randomly kill adults, they also have the flower in them, and it's a sacred rite to somehow it suggests that it maybe takes toxins out of the body too, because the flower like absorbs something from the body.
Yeah, I think
And
not only so I think it they use it to like tell if like something is poison or if it's okay to eat. So I think if it turns red, then it's saying that it's not poisonous. So that's how they tell if food is safe. And it also has
yeah,
like a meaning where like, oh yeah, you do this, and I guess it's kind of like symbolic a little bit. And so it kind of does both
it's giving
things.
thanks. It feels like it's giving thanks for the food to the creature that you're killing or something like
Yeah.
that. It's like a sacred thing. But yeah, it's a really interesting scene because Emma's like, I'm gonna have to start killing things, so I need to learn how to kill things. And I mean, that's very forward thinking of her. So
I mean, Emma is the brains. Like Emma has it all. Emma's a great leader in
she
my
does,
opinion.
man. But a lot of this episode centers around these two characters who are sort of religious zealots, kind of, I guess, in their community, where they very much are anti-eating humans. They eat everything else. They'll eat meat, but
Yeah.
they don't eat humans, and the rest of the society does. I no spoilers. You find out a lot more about these characters in the manga that's coming down the pipe, so we'll find out more about them. But they seem really
So
on the up and up. They feed all the kids. They teach them how to like forage and what foods are good to eat and things like that.
yeah, and they also explained to Emma that there was an agreement between humans and monsters or demons that the worlds would be split into two, and the humans would take one and the demons take the other. And so, and there's agreement where the humans would like make the like the demons won't eat the humans, and as compensation, the humans pretty much created the farms that exist in the demon world. That way, they still have food. But and so Emma and Ray are like, yeah, we will like not only escape ourselves, but we're going to liberate every single like farm in this world and save all the children. And I'm just thinking,
Yep.
but the agreement breaks down at that point. Like I understand, like no one
Yep.
wants to be eaten, but at the same time, like that is like if you do that,
You're missing
then there
the trick
might be
here. Yeah.
severe consequences later on. So I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Also, there's a lot of information that we don't have yet about what is going on in this world, and there's a whole nother section of this that is coming soon, and I'm very, very excited about it. But for now,
Yeah.
we're children running through the woods trying to liberate other children, or at least find our footing to start with. And they found some friendly demons
Yeah.
that will probably be few and far between. So the show is also really, really good. Anybody who has not watched this or hasn't watched the first season, please just go and do it. It's maybe the best thing out right now. Although Titan is really good right now too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
ReZero.
All right. So
ReZero is not my favorite,
ReZero,
but I liked this episode far better than I've liked other episodes because I don't care about Amelia crying. That's kind of why I like this episode better.
so like I said before, I feel like the show is better when there's other characters besides Subaru and Amelia. Like they are quote unquote the main characters, but the rest of the cast I feel like aren't just like icing on the cake. They are the backbone that kind of keeps the show interesting because like although Subaru moves it forward, like he's not a likable guy. And I know Amelia has a big fan base. There's a big like waifu war between Amelia and Rem. Amelia
Yeah,
just doesn't. She's kind of like just like yeah, I am the perfect character. I'm beautiful. I'm nice and kind. And like, yes, she has flaws, but it's like there are flaws that like, oh yeah, she has flaws, but they're so like forgivable. You know what I mean? So it's like she's
yeah,
just such a like, oh, I don't want to say it. She's not Mary Sue by any. She's not Mary Sue, but it's like she's just there
she's
to
not.
be like the
Got
idealized like female
yeah,
main character. So it's like
uh,
she's
yeah,
not as interesting to watch as some of the other characters. So I'm really excited because at the end of this one, it seems Amelia finally has her memories back and she realizes that she's a witch. Um, and so before through the whole series, Amelia has always been like looked down upon because she looks like the witch of Envy, the witch of Envy. So she looks just like the witch of Envy, which was this massive problem that existed like I think 15 years ago. So
Mhm.
everyone's like, "Oh yeah, like we can't trust you because you look so much like her." And now it seems like she it's confirmed. It seems like it's confirmed that she's that witch's daughter, and so she confronts Echidna, which is one of my favorite characters, at the very end, and she says, "Yeah, I'm not going to lose to a fellow witch." And so it seems that Amelia's finally is going to be confronting the other witches, possibly her mother, and so Amelia might be a more developed character now that she has her memories back. And I
Yeah.
guess that might be the reason why she hasn't been a developed character till now, because there's been so much that she couldn't remember. So
Yeah.
hopefully she gets better.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, someone
I have.
posted in the comments that Subaru used the unseen hand, which means so Subaru finally has his powers now too, because Subaru has the power of the witch of he has the power of, I think, is it sloth? I think he has a sloth factor, which means
Mhm.
he can use some of the witch's powers to his benefit, and he has like a connection to the witch of envy. So lots of development.
Fun times, fun times. I want to know why everybody is like, Emilia this, and what's the blue haired one?
Rem.
Rem. What's the pink haired one? Ram. Why isn't
So Ram
everybody
is
in love
Rem's
with her?
Rem's twin sister.
Yeah, well,
Um,
she's great. Okay, and I don't understand why everybody's not about her. Okay.
okay, so Ram right now, this is Ram at her best. Like right now, Ram is really good. She has lots of development right now, but Ram was not a big, I guess, front runner in terms of like the fan favorite, because Ram is in love with this guy named Rosewald. You might have seen him in one of the episodes. He was, if you've seen a character sitting in the bed and he's like all wrapped up and he's like really
Yeah, he was
confident.
like a clown guy or something.
Yeah, that's
Like he had
Rosewald.
clown
Right
makeup
now he's pretty
before.
injured, but he's the ruler of the mansion that Amelia lives at, outside of
Hmm.
this kind of like locked space. Like he has his own mansion, and he's like a duke, and he has lots of power, but he's really sketchy all the time, and you always know that he's not really on your side. But Ram is 100% devoted to him. He it feels like he's at least twice her age, but and she's so devoted to him that it feels really awkward whenever she's like, yeah, like whatever he wants, I'll do. And so
Yeah,
that's one
yeah,
reason why like Ram was never like, okay. But now it seems like they're trying to like put her with Garfield a little bit, but it's weird
yeah,
because Ram is 18 and Garfield is 14,
yeah.
but
That's a little
Garfield looks
strange.
like he's 18, but
Yeah,
he acts like
that
like
was a
an
whole
idiot.
part of the episode. It's like I don't know, he was so young and this and that, and he's so angry,
So
but his mom really loved him. And I mean, if I cared about
his
these characters,
motivations
I
make
guess I
no
would care.
sense. But he's a kid, but he's not a kid. So I don't
But
know.
yeah, I like how he has sharp
But yeah,
teeth. They're like part monster or whatever, or part animal.
yeah,
Like
he's
and he
half human,
yeah, he
half
has
beast.
it too. Yeah, I remember when
Yeah,
his
and he's voiced
sister
by
was.
Bakugo.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
he's voiced by Bakugo. Is that what you said?
yeah. So that
That
actor
voice actor
voices
speaks
every
in voice.
angry, like fiery character. Like the also, the fire guy that cooks the fish food in Food Wars, that has all the fire with him all the time. That's
Yeah,
also
Ryu or
Bakugo.
Ryu.
Yeah, he voices every angry, uncontrollable character.
I like that. I like that. Oh yeah, you chose this. You chose this picture intentionally. I like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
so it's like that was one of the highlights of the show, where you
Oh
realize,
my
oh,
god.
now
That's
Amelia realizes she's a witch, and we're going to see all the witches kind of like collide, because because seeing Echidna means she can also see the other six witches, and so
yeah.
they're all really unique. Um, and so it seems it's going to be a very interesting turn of events next episode.
We went from I'm gonna cry and then my familiar character is going to leave me and I'm gonna be sad because he wouldn't hold my hand through the night and I'm gonna cry an entire episode and it ends in a kiss to I'm an angry boy with a lot of deep seated problems and I definitely prefer angry boy with a lot of deep seated problems than I'm gonna cry in a tomb for like an entire episode. Okay, this was
Yeah,
infinitely better than the last episode.
we get to see so we get to, oh, also one other thing, we got to see why Subaru left Amelia, like when you saw, like she was like, oh yeah, you broke your promise, you left when I was sleeping. Apparently he was up all night drawing those little drawings in a cave saying good luck, like hang in there.
Yeah.
And he was so
Yeah.
embarrassed by it that when Garfield was like, yeah, I saw you like in the cave, and he was like, oh no, like, you saw my love letter written on the walls, like in like
All right.
all through the whole cave.
I'm gonna be real. That part kind of pissed me off because I'm like, you've got this whole scene in the earlier episode where she's like having a mental breakdown, and she's like, "Why did you leave me?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't tell you." Just it was
Yeah,
something
like
dumb.
you could have
Just
told
tell
her.
her. Like,
Like
yeah, she's having a breakdown. Just tell her.
like
Like, what the
that's why the
hell?
main character is so bad. It's just so oh my god.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But all right, Stone Wars. So we could not watch Doctor Stone last week because it much the same this week. It wasn't out at like 9 o'clock or 9:30 this morning when I looked. So it
Yeah,
comes
it
out like
comes out
right
like
before.
pretty much when we go live, that's when Stone Wars comes out.
Yeah, so we'll be like sort of a week behind on that. But yeah, so Stone Wars. Doctor Stone is back, and
Yeah.
our big bad in this one is still the beast high schooler guy who is a really cool character. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I
Yeah, I mean
I like his wrathful
he
attitude.
should not, I
Or
don't
not.
know why he's a high school kid. Like he looks like he's 30. Like
Yes, I don't know. And he's like a monster too. Like he's cut. He's swole. Um, but they're trying to figure things out, and you've got I don't remember anybody's name except Senku. He's got his two friends are undercover with the monster guys like contingent, and what they're going to do is they found an old record that's like it's in crystal or something. I mean, like it's a permanent record kind of thing with a recording of a very famous singer from America. Everybody in the town listens to this record and knows it. But the other guy's town doesn't know this record, but they're all people from the past, so they'll recognize her voice. And you find out that the weird dude, the weird magician dude, can mimic voices crazy well. So their new plan is to tell everybody, oh, it didn't happen to all of us. America is still okay, and play her singing voice as a to give everybody else credibility that it's really her and she's really there and America's back up on its feet already and you should come over and join us as a misdirect. Um, so yeah.
so one thing I love about Senku is that he's a good guy and he's the main character, but he's not afraid of being the bad guy. He's not afraid of getting his hands dirty and says, "Yeah, they're gonna hate us for us. They're gonna hate this. They're gonna hate us later.
Mhm.
It's probably gonna like start another problem down the road, but we need solutions right now, and so
Yep.
let's do it."
Yeah,
So
Senku's bedside manner is not always the best, but Senku definitely is very focused on his goal and will get to his goal no matter what. So
you
that's how
know,
we're gonna get there.
the only decision
I
I find questionable, like I knew he had no other, like literally his first decision in episode one, season one, was when he unstoned the big guy, and I'm like, that one you could have probably thought through just a little bit more. Like that
I
one
don't know.
has a
They
little
were
bit
pretty
too much
desperate
immediate
because they were getting
consequences.
attacked by some like tiger or something, and then he kills it and skins it and uses its skin as his cloak. And I was sold on him right there. All right, the big guy, I was sold on him right there, right at that very moment. Like, all right, you're pretty cool. I'm in. But Doctor Stone is continuing down the same path it has been. I've read the whole manga, and you're gonna have a lot of this same trajectory for a while. Lots of new characters come in and out and they do different things and they go different places and stuff like that. But you've got a lot of this same type of thing where you got innovation to try to solve problems, most of which makes sense, some of which doesn't. Let me be real with you.
Yeah,
Um
I love the innovate. I love that they invent things in every episode. I do feel like the way that they present their inventions are a little far off, right? So, for example, like this season is built on the fact that they wanted to make cell phones. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay, cell phones are cool, but why are you calling it a cell phone? It could just be a walkie-talkie or a radio.
Yep.
Like it's not,
Because it's not
unless you have
it's a
like a flip
walkie
phone
talkie.
or an actual like touch screen, it's not a cell phone. And I know that's not what they're
Yep.
doing. You're making a
Exactly.
walkie-talkie. Don't call it a
Yep.
cell phone. And for this one,
It's
they're
not.
like, we're making astronaut food, and I'm like, but you're not. You're making dried food. Like,
Yeah,
just say
you
we're
are.
making instant noodles. You don't have
Make
to
a
say
cup
we're
noodle.
making space food.
Yeah, they
So
wanted
they
it to
hyped it
sound
up just a little
cool,
bit too
and they
much, but
wanted
I
to use
still
a
like it.
picture of Senku's awesome dad, because Senku's dad is like the best part of the show. Let me be real. And the
You
spin-off
know,
manga about Senku's dad is like my favorite part of Doctor Stone. So,
was the
um,
spin-off manga what was adapted to the flashback, or was that is there something more beyond that?
it's pretty. It's got several episodes, so or several issues, I should say. So, I mean, it's longer than the flashbacks have been, like with more
I might have to
detail.
check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love Senku's dad. Although I think if you're making space food, that ramen is not the best choice for that. Like, it doesn't seem like a very easy food to eat in space. Like,
Yeah, like they are taking some liberties. I still enjoy it, but they're taking way too many liberties. Um,
so
and so
we had a
this is the random show that we wrote for last year, or spun the wheel
spin the
for.
wheel show from this week. Fushigi Yugi. Fushigi Yugi is the progenitor of isekai shows because it is definitely still an isekai. And I can
Yeah,
explain some stuff because Eric had some questions here. The main crux of Fushigi Yugi is the main girl in the middle is Miyaka. There's like the world of the four gods in China. There's Suzaku is the bird, and there's like four. There's a Gembu or something is a turtle. Byakko, I forgot what Byakko is. I don't know. There's four of them. The only one you should really care about right now is Suzaku, and her. There is a prophecy that she can obtain Suzaku's power. Um, she gets sucked into the past with her friend, who's the one on the left. That's Yui, and they're like in this like ancient Chinese town, and they're like, "What is going on?" And they get into like a tussle with the townsfolk, and this guy on the right is Tamahome, and he comes and like rescues them, and then the bird comes back, and Yui gets sucked back into the future, like the present day or whatever, and she's reading like this book of the history of this Suzaku story or whatever. But as she's reading it, Miyaka is experiencing it because she's still in the past. And every time like she gets hurt, Yui also gets hurt. And when she gets like soaking wet, Yui also gets soaking wet because she's reading the book. They're like connected or something like that, right?
okay.
And so Miyaka finds out. I don't even know if you got to this if you only watched the first episode. She can
I
obtain
watched
the
the
power
first
of
two.
Suzaku. She can obtain the power of Suzaku by collecting 7 guardians who have characters based on 7 constellations around Suzaku on their body. And the first one she meets is Tamahome, and he's got like an ogre symbol on his forehead. And then the second one she meets is the king, actually the emperor, and Hotohori, and he has like one of the symbols. And later, like it progresses, and she meets several of them, and it's a reverse harem show. Whoa, where did that come
Yeah.
from? Oh, reverse harem show. But yeah, it's an example. Oh, did you not have another one of this? Is it just this one for the slide? Are we at the end of the
Oh
slideshow?
yeah,
We
yeah.
gotta click
I
off.
didn't. I just have
Okay,
the main image for this one.
Byakko might be a tiger. I'm not really sure. Byakko, they do. So there's 2 of the ones they in the main Fushigi Yugi, 2 of the 4 gods and their subsequent, different people or 7 guardians are in it. And then there's like 2 or 3 OVAs where they talk about like the Byakko girl who has it's like another side story that's a different girl and it's the same kind of crap. But yeah, they are in China. They do speak Japanese, but they do speak a little bit of Chinese, and I think that's kind of where they don't really go into the whole translation problem in this. And there actually is some Chinese later in the show where they like talk about like this is how in my language we say I love you, and it's why me, and it's like that's Chinese, and
So
it's
when she
kind of
gets
weird.
transported over to China, the Chinese people are actually speaking Japanese, except for
Um,
certain things.
they they don't really explain that, but there is a section later where they talk about like in my language this is where this is or this is what this means. So they do reference
I
that they're
was
not speaking Chinese at one point, but then they, because they use Chinese, it's weird.
I was expecting them to do
Just
like a Rosetta Stone type deal where they're like, oh yeah, like we're all speaking in our native tongues, but there's this magic that translates it whenever you
yeah,
hear it.
like
I was expecting that. I was not expecting them to just like hand wave it off, but okay.
I
Okay.
hand wave it off, yeah. But uh, it's a quintessential '90s dub if you watch the dub, and
Yeah, so
it's
I
full of
watched the
silly
dub
humor.
and I was like, oh, I could. So when in the first like few minutes of the episode, and I watched so much anime at this point that I knew the lip flaps were saying ikitaki ikitaki mas, right? And but the dub said I want to eat it all, and I was like, that's very classic '90s dubbing of you.
Like
And then there was
the first
another
two or
part.
three.
And then there was another part where
Go ahead.
they're in the classroom and they're learning Spanish, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're not actually learning Spanish. They're probably learning English, and so they just
Yeah.
it's all these like classic like localization choices that we're so like familiar of from '90s anime that it felt nostalgic to see these choices present again.
It was so full. Like the first couple episodes are so full of dumb comedy and then weird, like stupid situations. Oh no, this building is falling down. Miyaka's gonna get crushed. Oh, Tamahome has to save her. And she's like in love with Tamahome by episode 3, and it's ridiculous. Okay, it's so campy and cheesy, and I forgot how bad it was on some levels until I watched 4 episodes of it, and it's pretty bad. Yeah, by like episode 3 or 4, she's in love with Tamahome, but the Emperor Hotohori has been dreaming of this girl his whole life. And even though she's fairly plain looking, and he's absolutely gorgeously beautiful, and the Emperor of China, or this section of China, right? He wants to marry her and make his bride, and he'll treat her right, and he hasn't ever dabbled with his harem and all. He's completely pure, and oh my god, I could not even begin to take this seriously. I just mm.
See, I still find it to be charming. Like it's still a nice throwback, and so like I don't I like the it is bad, but it's not bad in a bad way. Like it's it's weird. Now it's come full circle, and it's more so charming to see how far the anime dubbing industry has come, and how far plot writing has come, where these things wouldn't be accepted anymore. Like
Yeah.
her reason for becoming like accepting this role was just like is the most shallow reason I've ever seen. They were like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And says, "Nah, man, I kind of want to go back home. Like I just want to leave. Like, but
It's
we'll give you
parasitic.
anything, any wish you want. Oh, you mean I can get sweets and junk food? Sweet, count me in. You mean I can get
Yeah.
like better grades? Count me in. I'm gonna go through this life-threatening situation for sweets and and better grades at school. Got
Yeah.
it.
I can have
Okay.
anything in any wish in the world granted, and I want to get into the high school of my choice. What? You could just be rich and brilliant. Why would you even bother? Like,
I mean,
I got
she is a
problems with
teenager. Like I will give the person in the chat the benefit of the doubt. She is a
that.
teenager, but it's like
Yeah, okay.
it's just
If I
so
were a teenager
shallow.
and I got if I were a teenager and I got one wish, it would be immortality or to be rich, okay? Just because I'm a teenager doesn't mean I'm blind, all right? Like I
I
know
mean, we've
what
seen,
things are and what worth
yeah.
is, and it's like Homer when he finds $20 on the couch looking for peanuts, and he's like, "Oh, but I wanted peanuts." "Oh, but Homer, money can be used in exchange for goods and services." Huh? Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. All right. I want
Yeah.
sweets. Well, if you're the richest person in the universe, you can have whatever sweets you want any time of day. Money can be exchanged for goods and services. That's how
Yeah,
it
even all the
works.
girls in Monica had much more thought out wishes, and their wishes weren't really that thought out either. Like,
No.
so
Well, some of
I
them were
gotta fault her
desperate.
for that.
Like, if you're
What'd
desperate
you say?
for food and you're hungry, I mean, like some of the Monica girls were desperate. Like, I get it.
Yeah,
Like, that you don't have much of a choice. Like, other people's were thought out. Like stupid sock. The blue one. What's her face?
Sayaka wanted her best
Sayaka.
her not boyfriend to be healed.
I
Monica
know.
wanted her
Sayaka
cat to be brought back to
wanted that.
life. Um, let's see. Homura wanted to save Monica.
Mhm.
Kyoko wanted her dad to be respected, and that turned it. She accidentally turned him into a cult leader. So
Yeah.
their wishes backfired, but they at least were more thought out than I want some chocolate
I
sweets
want
that I can
sweets.
just
Yeah.
buy at the store.
Oh, well, you get if you want to watch 52 episodes of Fushigi Yugi, you continue on and do that. I will
I
say
will
that once you
not.
get about halfway
I will
through,
not.
the first section of it is pretty good, and then they put in a bunch of. It feels like a filler. I mean, I don't know how it translates to the manga, honestly, but it feels like a lot of filler. And then the second half of it drags. It absolutely drags.
And then I hear
And
there's
then I
like
don't.
two different OVA series for it. Like the OVAs have
Yeah,
like
you
a,
get
like 5 episodes each, I think.
a postscript OVA for this story, and then you get some OVAs that are like a completely different girl who's Byakugo's thing, or Byaku's, or whatever person. And I don't think any of those are pretty really good. If you want a better series from Yuwatase, in my opinion, go watch Ayashi no Seres. I think in the U.S. it was translated to Celestial Legend Seres. And that I liked that show way better than I like Fushigi Yugi. It's more serious. It doesn't have that stupid comedic element. It's still pretty dated now because it's still like from like the late '90s kind of time frame. But it's a much better series than Fushigi Yugi is,
Yeah,
in my
when they were in the middle of like a public street and she called him a slave trader and trafficker, I was like, wait a minute, that's way out of line. And I'm
opinion.
mad. I'm mad that the villagers in the street were like, oh, he's a human trafficker? How terrible. And he just turned away. I'm
Yeah, you
like,
keep
what do you
talking.
mean?
It's like whatever. All right, so we have the wheel again, and we have to
All
choose a
right.
different series. We'll give up on
Do you want me to
Fushigi for now.
digitize your wheel? Do you want to just have a digital wheel, Jess? There are
No, it's
websites for
cool
this.
because we have a physical one. All
All
right,
right.
that's
Okay.
what
Okay.
makes it
Let's put it.
cool. All
Okay.
right, here we go.
Did you remove Fushigi Yugi?
No, but if we do it, I'll just spin again. Oh, it's right on the line. Oh, that's 15. 15. We got a good one today.
Okay. What is
We're
it?
watching. We're watching GTO. Great Teacher Onizuka.
GTO? All right.
I
Eventually, we're
love.
going to make it to my list. We're going to make it to my
Well,
list.
no,
All right. So,
I just keep spinning the wheel. I'm spinning the wheel here.
okay. Okay. Okay.
GTO.
Um.
Good.
All
So
right. So we're
good.
going to watch
It's.
GTO. I have not seen anything from GTO. Uh,
Oh, you're gonna
except
it.
for the
Oh
meme of the racing around the
yeah,
corner.
no, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. GTO, it is about a guy who becomes a teacher, and he's a very interesting character. So I hope you're gonna like it. I think it's on Retro Crush. I think, yeah, it may be on something. I think it
Yeah,
might
I'm
be on
looking.
Amazon.
So it's also on Crunchyroll. I think
Yeah,
most things on Retro Crush might also be on Crunchyroll because I see the dub and the sub for that here as well. So
yeah.
you want to watch this dub? Is that what we're doing?
Ideally, I want to try to watch everything dubbed if we can. Some of the stuff will not be available dubbed, but sometimes the dubs are intentionally or unintentionally awful. GTO is actually not a bad dub, so. And
Okay.
if you like it, there is a GTO live action series as well that was pretty freaking good. But the original, I used to have it at some point. I owned it on DVD, like the whole thing. But it's really, really good, and it lends itself really well to episodic. So you can watch like a couple of episodes, and you won't miss a whole lot.
All right. All right.
Um,
We're
but
finishing up pretty much on time. Like we're doing good on schedule.
we're doing pretty good. Next week we'll
Yeah.
have a set. We'll watch the next set of all of the stuff. Maybe we won't have 3 freaking episodes of Code Black next week, but they were really 3
Yeah.
really funny episodes of Code Black. Um,
So yeah, if you
if
guys want to
you
join us with the watch thing, watch the first at least 2 episodes of GTO and you'll be able to share your opinions on it with us.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got opinions on this season's shows that are going on, if you have your favorites, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, or like, or what do they say on Twitch? Follow us.
Follow.
Like and subscribe
You
is
follow.
on YouTube. That's for YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow us
Smash that like button or
and
subscribe button.
hang out. Like, yeah, if you follow us, they'll give you a notification when we go live. We'll be moving into the Joy of Eating next. if you'd like to see us next week, 11 o'clock on Thursday, will be Anime Book Club. And we also stream here on Twitch on Mondays. We stream Mondays, Thursdays for lunch, and then Fridays in the evening from 6 to 10 Eastern. And we also do some kind of random other streams throughout the week. Like on Tuesday, we were doing a multiplayer stream with Toothpick Vic, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
And we definitely beat all of Scott Pilgrim, and it was entertaining.
How are you keeping up with
Yeah.
all these streams, Jess? I'm having a hard enough time just watching these shows.
Oh, yeah, that's only the Twitch ones, okay? We have YouTube streams too, and one-off Facebook stuff, and it's exciting. And then we're here making TikTok content, like fantastic
Oh my
TikTok
God.
videos. Because Mom Jess is a TikTok star. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, we're
I
working
did
on the
not.
sea shanty. I need you to make AMVs to sea shanties because I was like, it's a thing. We gotta
What?
do it.
Sea
Sea
shanty? What is
shanties
that?
are. Look up the Wellerman calls or whatever. Like
Okay.
Mom will tell you is what she said, and you you can do it.
All right, I'll
We
get
thank you
on
guys
that.
and we will see you next week for Anime Book Club.